about mobility and strength at the hip today. Some nice easy suggestions for you to play with. You don't need any equipment for these, you just need to get on the floor, and I will give you some standing options as well that you can do whilst you are waiting for the kettle to boil or whilst you're brushing your teeth. Right, so first off, let's see what our mobility is at the hip. If you are indeed, for example, when you sit with your legs crossed and your knees are up by your ears, ouch, and then you end up slumped when you're in this position, then there are ways that you can strengthen and mobilise gently, under control, without forcing anything. Don't worry if you are the other way. If like me, you're pretty hypermobile, there are ways for you to manage things as well. Blessing and a curse either way. Right, so first off, we're going to sit with our feet and knees fairly wide here, and just to ease into the hips, gently tick-tock those knees side to side. Now you can do this movement sitting at your desk, so as long as you haven't got one of those chairs on wheels. They can be a little bit dodgy. So just an easy rock side to side, that will get the head of the femur, so the top of the thigh bone, moving in the hip socket. So if we do manage to strengthen and gently mobilise around those hips, you should find that low back pain is either reduced or eliminated entirely. Obviously, if you've got any long-standing conditions, you may need to, or pain, you may need to go see your GP for a referral if you're here in the UK, or go see your specialist. So hopefully that feels really good to get that gentle tick-tock. Yes, you can go slower as you go. The caffeine's kicking in for me. So I was going for a bit of a faster one there. So if you're sitting at your desk, then feel free to have a little play with that one. Good. And then from here, so people who are tight, this is hell on earth. Okay, I know. Sitting here with the knees gently out to the side. People sitting on chairs at desks, as long as you don't have a tight skirt on, you can place the feet wide and just gently lean forwards over the legs, so you get a little bit of a low back stretch, maybe feeling that down here, so you can sink forwards. We can do this with our heels together, sitting on the floor, and over time maybe they'll drop, maybe they won't. Okay, that's not the be all and end all, getting those knees down to the floor. For most people, it's just about feeling a little more comfortable around here and able to lift out of the hips. And then from here, we're going to, with the feet gently together, allow them to have a bit of movement. So these are, think of it as a little bit like playtime for your hips. So we go for a little bit of side-side action. If you're very tight from whatever you've been doing, you may feel this across the side of the thigh there, but it should feel really good to get moving at least. And then you gently come forward. So a lot of the exercises that I really like and find results with are side lying ones or standing. So I'm going to throw a few standing ones at you whilst I'm in the mood, and then we'll hit the mat. So quite nice, those side lying ones, for when you roll out of bed, you feel like you need to do something but you're feeling a little bit sleepy still. So don't jump up too fast. So if we're going to do our standing ones, standing with feet parallel, so the toes pointing forwards, gently squeeze your bum muscles, your buttocks, so that your arches naturally lift. That's all you need to do. So you don't need to think about lifting the arches. Just spread the toes into the floor, gently squeeze these turnout muscles, and your arches will naturally feel supported. Bend both legs, lift one heel ever so slightly, and go for an in and out action. So you're working within the range of motion here at the hip, where you're not twisting. Yeah, you're not cheating, you're not going, look at what I can do. No. Keep the hips level, facing forwards. Imagine you have car headlights on the front of these hips where I'm sparkling my fingers at you. So you're pointing both of those hip bones forwards, and you're getting, this is a bit of a clamshell action. It's fairly easy, should be manageable for most people. So that was about 8. Try the other side. So I've nearly mastered the art of counting whilst queuing, but sometimes you get a few extra and a few less, no matter. Good, so that's about 8 there, brilliant. And then if you do want to work into the hips a little more whilst you're standing, you stand with a straight leg here, but this one's just out to the side and the heel's ever so slightly lifted. It might be a little higher if you've got that mobility in the foot, and we gently draw circles. Easy gliding motion. So if you're finding pain, twanging, any kind of referred nervy feeling, you slow it down and ease through, and hopefully you'll find that comfortable range of motion. And yes, if you're feeling well, feel free to go a little bigger and a little faster. Good, change direction. So you don't need to be too stressed about how many you do, but have an awareness of doing about the same in each direction. So we're going for 5 now, and then change legs. But don't worry, your leg won't fall off if you did one extra run. We don't generally move symmetrically throughout our lives, and most people are pain-free. So if you're right-handed, you will tend to reach forwards with your right hand to open doors, etc. And you're still here, you're fine. So change direction. So less about the fear, more about the mindfulness, yeah? So easy circles. And that should feel really good. It's a really nice way to mobilise into those hips, particularly if you're starting to feel stiff after a long day. Right, hopefully you're still there. Sorry about that, low battery, but we've got enough for this video, so I'm going to crack on. Right, so side lying. If I disappear, you'll know why. The battery's gone. So side lying, we are going to make sure the heels are lined up with the tailbone, so the knees are bent and forwards of the body, ankles, knees, hips stacked. Support your head with a cushion or your arm, lift that underneath waist. Now make sure you don't roll back with the hip. For one, you'll probably go splat onto your back, so that will hurt your ego if nothing else. And we gently open and close. So this is your pretty basic clamshell here, but the fundamental exercises are the best. This is 5. Now you can level up with resistance bands and hand weights, but if you have nothing to hand, just doing this is fantastic. So good for you, brilliant. There we go, so that was your nice easy 8. If you want to level up, it's a bit camp this one, I love it. Hello sailor with the heels, lift them up, and then we get to make a bigger diamond. So you should be feeling that now. If you want to feel it more, squeeze the heels together. Good, and we should be working back here. So it's quite gratifying, looks weird, quite gratifying to place your hand on your glutes and feel the muscle fibres tensing and relaxing. And this should be 8. Good, bring it down. So if you're doing this live with me, you may be feeling a little bit of something around here. If you don't worry. And then from there, we're going to draw some circles in the air. So this leg is lined up with my spine. Pointed or flexed foot, either's fine. And we're drawing circles in the air. Now if your low back is tender and it's giving you trouble, do this with a bent leg. Just make sure it's parallel. So you're imagining that that leg is gently tapping down onto something each time. So you choose. So we go for 8 and then change direction. And if 8 is too much for you at first, stop when you need to and do that many on the other side, and you'll build up your strength really quickly. Good, 7 and 8, bring it down. So we're feeling, yeah, a little bit of something going on here, but it's not completely horrendous. Good, if you're still feeling well, bring that leg extended, and we're going to kick forwards and back, imagining that we're gliding our leg across a frozen lake. Hold on to the floor if you need. Sniff it forwards and blow it back. So you can feel that you're working here. Some people, if they're not so strong yet, can really feel this. So it starts to get a bit character building around now. This is 5. We're going to 8, 6, and again you can level this up by adding a hand weight, holding on the leg, or adding a resistance band. Love resistance bands. And this will be 8. So we should be keeping that pelvis still the whole time, and then let that leg come down. You're probably feeling that right now. If you're just watching with your cuppa, enjoy. When you try it later on, you'll know about it. So I'm keeping it quite simple, quite open level, but yeah, the basics are good. So we're going to give it a go on the other side. You can have a little play if you're doing this live with me. So we've got heels lined up with tailbone, knees towards the body, ankles, knees, hips stacked, underneath waist, active, head, neck, shoulder area, nice and easy, and yeah, clicking's optional. Mine just do that on my hips. So we're making sure that we land down each time, nicely stacked. Try to keep that neck, shoulder area really relaxed. Breathing into the rib cage. 7, and the tummy still gently active. 8, are you ready? Lift the heels. And squeeze the heels to get that to open. So that's you activating your glutes at the back to open, and then they release. Okay, keep going. If you can. 6, visualizing the diamond that you're making. 7, that takes your mind off the burn. 8, and gently bring it back down. So we've got nice stability from that underneath leg that's still bent. This one may be bent to help support low backs, or longer. A longer lever is harder to control. And then we're circling the leg, keeping that kneecap facing forward. So we're staying in parallel, and that gets you working glute med at the side here. 6, 7, 8, other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep that underneath waist active here. 7, 8. Have a moment to flop out, but if you can, gently kick forwards, gliding the foot across the frozen leg as you do, and then glide it back. So you don't want to be chipping little bits of ice off. You want to keep it nice and smooth and gliding. You should be feeling stretching the hamstring, stretching the quad at the front. So we're stretching the back, stretching the front. Muscles work in opposition. So if you're flexing one side, you'll be lengthening the other. And this is pretty much how Pilates works. We're stabilising at the joints and working on our mobility with control and mindfulness. Well done, you. And this will be 8. Good. Bring it down. And then my apology to you for that is our little rock and roll with wide feet and knees. Allow your knees to drop side to side, and this gives you a little glute massage. Goes into both sides if you allow yourself to move. It's really important that you have wide feet and knees to do this, otherwise you'll get a little stuck. Good. So you should feel a gentle massage around here as you roll over that side. So this side will get it now. Should feel really good. And you can play around with adding a little bit of a dance style twist here. Feels really good to get that spine moving. Keep the belly drawn into the spine, the tailbone dropped. Length out of the crown of the head, just so that we're not sinking as we're twisting. We're trying to lengthen the spine as we twist. And just see how that feels now. So you're feeling like things have worked a little, but you're not feeling incapacitated. And it's that slow build, and you can gradually build up the reps, the repetitions that you do over time. And for me at least, this is maintenance. If I don't do these kind of exercises, I will really feel my hips when I go for long walks, get cramps, low back pain. So once you find the exercises that work for you, you may want to do them every day, every other day. And it didn't take long, did it? Not at all. So if you can get 10, 15, 20 minutes in the morning or in the evening, you will notice a difference over time. And I'm here for you if you need any guidance. You know I run classes, you know I've got a membership with loads of videos.